If you are a founder or executive at a startup, at some point you're going to need answers to questions like, what's our actual churn rate? Which marketing channel is driving revenue? And are we on track to hit our numbers this quarter? The way you set up your data stack determines whether you get those answers in 30 minutes or 6 months. And most startups follow the enterprise playbook from 2020. You buy a data warehouse, you bolt on an ETL tool, you add a transformation layer, and then a BI tool on top. That's 4 products, 4 bills, and probably a data engineer to keep it all running. But there's another way. You can start AI native from day one and skip all of that. This video breaks down both approaches so you can decide what makes sense for your stage. Let's talk about how companies build their data stack today. It usually starts with a simple question from a board member or investor like, what's our net retention revenue? Or what does our cohort analysis look like? You realize you can't answer it from a spreadsheet anymore, so you sign up for a data warehouse. Snowflake, BigQuery, Redshift, pick your favorite. That's where your data will live. And then you realize the data isn't even in the data warehouse. Your revenue data is in Stripe, your customer data is in HubSpot, etc. So you need an ETL tool, something like Fivetran, Airbite, or Stitch that pulls everything into one place. Next, you realize that the raw data in your data warehouse is messy and you need transformations. dbt is the standard. So you write SQL models to clean things up, you define what revenue actually means, and you create tables you want to query. And finally, you need something to actually look at the data. So you pick Looker, Tableau, Metabase, Mode, etc. That's your BI layer where you build dashboards. And as we just mentioned, that's 4 tools from 4 vendors and 4 contracts. And here's the part that surprises most founders. You still haven't answered that board question. All you've done is build the infrastructure to eventually answer it. This approach made sense for enterprises with data teams. It doesn't make sense for startups. First, the cost. You're looking at $50 to $100K a year minimum once you add up all the seats and usage. Second, it's complicated. These tools don't just plug in together. Someone has to configure them, maintain them, and debug them when things don't work. And that's usually a data engineer, and at a startup, you probably don't have one. Third, the time. It takes months to set these tools up properly, and months before you can answer basic questions about your business. And here's the kicker. The fragmented stack is almost impossible to automate with AI. The data lives in different places, the context is scattered, and definitions aren't consistent. Trying to integrate AI can actually make the mess worse. But there's another way. You can start AI native from day one. What does that mean? It means your data platform is designed for AI, not bolted on after the fact. One place where all your data lives, one semantic layer that defines revenue and churn and active users, and one AI agent that can query, analyze, and explain your data without writing SQL. No stitching together 4 tools, no hiring a data engineer to maintain the stack, and no months of setup before you can answer questions like, how are we doing? This is the approach we took when we built Definite. Let me show you how it works. Once you sign into the product, the first thing you'll do is connect your data sources. Definite has over 500 pre-built data connectors for all the tools that you use on a daily basis, from payment platforms like Stripe to CRMs like HubSpot and Addio, customer success tools, HR platforms, you name it. And once you've connected your data sources, you'll create a new doc or a dashboard, and you'll immediately start talking to our AI agent, Fee. And you can ask Fee anything related to your data, such as, what's our ARR by month? Build me a dashboard. Immediately, Fee will find the data that best answers this question. And in the background, before we even ask this question, Fee immediately built data models and organized the data to best assist us. For example, it created a data model for HubSpot emails. Additionally, it created a data model for Stripe prices and Stripe invoices. And going back to the question we asked Fee found that the best data to answer this question was within our Stripe data, and now it's going to go through it and build a comprehensive dashboard. And there we have it. Fee answered the question, built a dashboard, and additionally, you're able to customize everything that Fee creates. You can review the underlying SQL, or you can change the design of the charts, etc. So that's the stack. You connect your sources, you define your metrics, and you ask questions. And what does this actually unlock for a startup? First, speed. You can be up and running in under 30 minutes, not 6 months. Second, there's no data engineering required. The AI handles the SQL, the transformations, and the complexity. You just ask questions in plain English. Third, your data is actually usable. When everything lives in one place with consistent definitions, AI can actually help you. It's not guessing. It knows your schema, it knows your metrics, and it gives you real answers. And fourth, cost. You're not paying for 4 products. You're paying for 1. But we gotta stay honest. The traditional stack isn't wrong for everybody. If you're a large enterprise with a 10-person data team, custom compliance requirements, and petabytes of data, you might need the flexibility of separate best-of-breed tools, such as Snowflake, dbt, and Looker. But if you're a startup, seed stage, Series A, maybe early Series B, you don't need that complexity. You need answers. You need to know which customers are churning and why. You need to know if marketing spend is working. The AI native approach gets you there faster, cheaper, and with less headaches. So if you're building a startup in 2026, here's the move. Don't recreate the enterprise data stack of 2020. Start AI native from day one. One platform, one bill, and no data engineering required. Connect your data sources, set up your semantic models, and start asking questions. You'll have real analytics in hours, not months. And if you want to try Definite, check out the link in the description. You can sign up for free and be up and running today. Thanks for watching.